going to talk about student loan debt because that's always a topic people love to chime in their opinion on. So here's mine. I'm reading this article by CNBC, and I figured I'd start recording it before I go through all of it. It's a massive student debt strike, activists say, as millions of borrowers still aren't making payments. So according to this bullet, it says just 60% of student loan borrowers made a payment when the bills resumed in October. So that means 40% did not pay their bills. They could either be falling behind, or we could just call it a strike. Whatever. It's a good chunk of people not paying their debt. This is, in essence, a massive student debt strike. One activist says. Everyone's an activist these days. You have an opinion about something, you're an activist, right? Instead of it could just be like one deadbeat said. But, you're an activist now. All right. Nearly a year before federal student loan payments restarted, the U.S. Department of Education warned that many borrowers could struggle to pay their bills. Yeah, they got used to it. Not having to pay $200, $300, $500 a month. You could use that extra money to save, buy new things, and not anything else but to pay your student loan debt, right? So yeah, all these borrowers, what is it, 22 million of them? They got used to not paying that debt anymore. And then boom, now they have to pay it back. It sucks, but did accrue a debt, and now you have to pay it off. Unless the Department of Education is allowed to provide debt relief, we anticipate there will be an historical large increase in the amount of federal student loan delinquency and default as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. Department of Education Undersecretary James Vale, I believe, said in a court filing. The Supreme Court in June blocked President Joe Biden's plan to cancel up to $20,000 in student loan debt per borrower. Remember this? That's what he campaigned on. And those warnings are now becoming real. To this point, just 60% of people with federal education loans with payments due in October paid their bill in mid-November. U.S. Department of Education data published this month show. This is one thing I hate about politics. And I don't care blue, red, Democrat, Republican, liberal, conservative. They all have their carrot stick method. This was Joe Biden's carrot stick method. Just carrot stick in front of you. Oh, we're going to cancel $20,000 student loan. Vote for me. Supreme Court said, no, I tried. I had good intentions. They know it's going to fail. They all know it's going to fail. Outstanding loan debt in the U.S. now exceeds $1.7 trillion, burdening Americans more than credit card or auto loans. That's $1.7 trillion is a lot of debt. That's more than credit cards, because credit cards just broke the $1 trillion mark. That is kind of crazy if you think about it. The average loan balance at graduation has tripled since 1990s from $30,000 to $30,000 from $10,000. Additionally, some 7% of the student loan borrowers are now more than $100,000 in debt. $10,000 in debt in the 90s, that's what my aunts and uncles went through. They got a good job. They were able to pay that off like no problem. But if you're looking at $100,000, that's a mortgage. Half a mortgage at least. Or a down payment on a mortgage. Just because you were told, your parents and everyone else was like, hey, this is what I did. It worked out for me. You should do the same and you'll accelerate in your life. Okay, I'm going to do it. Boom, this debt is preventing you from going anywhere. You're anchored down. Here's what the experts have to say about the new findings. A massive student debt strike. The fact that up to 40% of student borrowers didn't make a payment reflects exactly what we've been warning would happen should Biden turn the debt collection apparatus back on, said Astra Taylor, co-founder of the Debt Collective, a union for debtors. I mean, if the debt is supposed to be paid off, what did you anticipate? You borrow money, you're supposed to pay it back. Just like anything else. You borrow a business loan, you pay it back. Are there going to be some who can't make the payment? Yeah. I mean, it's just like anything else. There's going to be people who can't pay off their credit cards or make the minimum payment. Or car loans, people who are going to fall back behind on that. I mean, it's just like any other debt, of course. Why is it even a surprise? Faced with the impossible choice of feeding their kids, keeping a roof over their head, or throwing an average of $400 a month into the Department of Education, borrowers are rightly choosing to keep themselves and their families financially afloat. Taylor said. I mean, they put the spin of, oh no, $400 a month. That money could feed the family or the kids. We can't do that. We can't make them decide whether to pay back their debt or feed their family or keep a roof over their head. We're not monsters. We need to figure out how we can forgive these loans. Because we're just teaching Americans that actions don't necessarily have to have consequences. This is, in essence, a massive student debt strike. I keep hearing this, I keep writing that over and over again. The Debt Collective has recently created a petition in which borrowers can write to the U.S. Department of Education and request that it cancel their student debt. So far, more than 35,000 people have done so, the organization says. If I recall, everything's just filler in this article. I'm just going to stop there. Here's the big thing with student loan debt. And I don't know where I am to conclude whether student loans should be forgiven or not, because that's not step one. Step one should be the cost needs to be controlled, because the cost of education, of college education rather, it just keeps spiking. And these college institutions, they can, because it's guaranteed by the government. That money is always going to keep coming in. That party is always going to keep going on. That's why you go to any university. Universities today are so updated. There's new buildings everywhere. Everything looks nice. It's like this beautiful small village. It's just insane how big universities are now. They're not fixing the problem on price. That is like step one. Now, how did this happen? Is it because the government guaranteed these loans? And because of that, universities were like, dude, we could just increase the tuition costs, and there's nothing to stop us. Nothing to stop us on increasing tuition costs, plus housing, plus these books. Why not? Let's just do it. These loans are guaranteed, and more students are going to keep coming in and pulling these loans. Because there's another thing that has to say that as soon as these kids turn into adults, it's like one of their very first actions as into adulthood. You're so young, naive, you still don't know anything. Yet you're saddled with a fat debt that's going to take you more than 10 years to pay off, if not longer. Right away, it's predatory. Our American young adults should not be starting off that way. It's like how they got rid of those credit card companies out in colleges because they knew it's predatory. These kids barely know anything about it, and they sign up with these credit cards, and boom, $5,000. It's taking them forever to pay off. But however, these universities have zero problem saddling up students today with 6-figure debt. And we still run on this old system, this old method that just pull out some loans, you'll have a great job, and you'll pay it off. That system does not work anymore. If anything, it's like reversed. You're saddled with debt, and the income's not there anymore. And it's a terrible system. So that's step one, like control the cost of these institutions, because it's ridiculous. And it should not be very predatory to like get these kids that if they want in these schools and take these education, take out all this huge loans. We need to go back to a system where like if you have to take out loans, but you should be working part-time as a student and go to school full-time. We need to go back to the system where part-time work should be encouraged. Use that money to pay your tuition fees. If you still, have some outstanding, sure, take out a little loan, but it should not be like a 6-figure loan. Unfortunately for me, I still had to work full-time and go to school full-time. It wasn't easy, lost a lot of sleep. And I still had to pull out some loans. But the system is like crumbling. Like, for me, this was like 10 years ago. A little bit more than that. I can't imagine being an 18-year-old today thinking, I really want to get a good quality education, but a 6-figure debt to complete the education, like, is that worth it? Because I do believe that we should have a highly educated society. I really do. But at what cost? to anchor down our students with these young adults. They barely know what the hell they're signing up for. And these universities take that moment to be financial predators on them. Just sign the dotted line. You know how much stupid things we've done at 18, 19, 20 years old, where we got ourselves into? Like, oh, geez, I just bought like a lemon car. Well, that's, I learned, I paid, $1,000, but hard thing to swallow, but I'll make that $1,000 eventually. But you won't with $100,000 of debt plus interest. So that is what needs to be fixed. I don't agree about paying off these student loans as step one. Because if you forgive student loans now without fixing the problem, you're going to make another batch of student loan forgiveness. 5 years, whatever down the road, another batch of student loan forgiveness. We're not fixing the problem. We're just fixing the symptom to a bigger problem. You need to fix tuition costs. How to do it? I don't know what it is. Maybe government needs to be completely out of the business. But then universities would crash, though. They have all this new buildings, and they got it all on debt too, but they're making those payments because they know they're going to have that increased amount of students and guaranteed loans coming in. But something needs to happen. That's why sometimes I'm like, these kids, they're grown adults now. They're like probably like in 30s, maybe late 20s. And they look back and be like, dude, I was taken advantage of financially. And yeah, I 100% believe that me and my generation, people going to school now, they're taken advantage of financially. To take out, like, do you really want that higher education? Take out this loan. This is what I get frustrated when I see the older generation, especially Fox News, where they say, you took out the loan, you pay it back, you work harder. Like, the system's different now. The amount of loans are different compared to when you went to college. The pay for these jobs have not increased, and we're stuck. Instead of yelling at us, how about you help us? Because this is going to have long-term repercussions in our country. We're getting too greedy. And I don't know if you've heard me say this in a previous video. There's a difference between making money and being greedy. It's fine to make money. It's okay, go for it. Like, as long as you're doing something positive that contributes to your society and to the country and your communities, and you profit from it, from doing something good, yeah. But greed is when you're screwing over others for personal gain. And this is the problem we're having right now. We're screwing our younger generation so others can get richer. That needs to end. This is where our society can thrive, not be taken advantage of. So the profits of younger generations for higher education needs to end. But I think that's it for my rant for today. Let me know what you guys think. Like, subscribe, all that. Comment below. Tell me what you agree, disagree with, troll, whatever it is. Go ahead and comment below. I hope to hear back from you. I do read your comments, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care.